you've come across a river. A river that is somehow fully ablaze. There won't be any drinking this water. Polka's curiosity is piqued. He shouts, "But water cannot burn. It defies scientific reason." Next to him, Trollus's nose twitches. She's evidently located something with her keen sense of smell. There might be food nearby. The party opts to trust in Trollus's nose and heads off in the direction she indicates. You're quite surprised to see an open-air stall set up here. You poke your head into the stall just as the merchant within whips around to greet you. "I've got a collection of rare monsters," the merchant says, glancing to and fro as he removes the cloth covering a nearby cage. He leans in close. "Speak not a word of this to anyone," he whispers in your ear and breaks down his stall. No more shopping for you, it seems. You arrive in a city humming with life and bustle. There! Trollus practically falls over with excitement as she whips her hand out to point at the food stall. The stall is stacked high with fresh grilled meats, which are by all accounts the source of the smell she noticed. It's not just only at the food stall, but throughout the city that people seem to make a living using fire. Perhaps that is why the place is sweltering. Polka cannot hold back his curiosity. "I must inquire as to this comburant water," he says, zipping away. In fact, he zips off quickly enough that you and the others lose sight of him. Shrugging your shoulders, you decide to head off in search of him. Heat, heat, heat. He who has the heat controls everything. Heat is everything, the man shouts. This city is hot enough as it is, but the man radiates fervor, making it all the hotter. You ask the man about Polka, and he replies in an encouraging tone. "You'll find him. You will. It is essential that you never give up." The woman is lost in thought as she gazes at the flames from a distance. Love and fire are rather similar, aren't they? You find her incomparable presence so overwhelming that you are unable to even ask about Polka. The young man is mumbling something. Listening carefully, you put the snatches of audible words together. It sounds as though he is unhappy about the local aristocrat. Apparently, said aristocrat is monopolizing the tinder water supply and reaping massive profits from it. You ask the lad about Polka, and he answers quickly, he ran off toward the pet shop. The wise old woman offers cautionary words. You'd best be careful. The flame primal dwells in the lake of fire. You ask the woman about Polka, and she replies, why, he and I were speaking until just a short while ago. He's probably still nearby. You thank the woman and take your leave. You stand before a handsome mansion whose occupant is assuredly possessed of abundant worldly means. In layman's terms, they're loaded. It doesn't seem likely that Polka is here. Try looking elsewhere for now. You locate Polka in a state of considerable excitement as he observes a burning pond. He notices you a moment later and starts chattering rapidly. This town is incredible. They use this combustible water as an energy source to make their living. And what's more, he goes on without taking a breath. It doesn't sound like his rambles are anywhere close to finished. But then, suddenly, the sound of children weeping reaches your ears. It sounds like it's coming from a back alley. In the back alleyway, two emaciated children stand alone, with naught but the clothes on their backs. They look to be siblings. Great tears stream down the boy's face. Between sobs, he explains that their mother and father both died of illness. Orphans, not uncommon in big cities like this, Legol says. Something akin to a vice grips your heart, and you wonder if there is some way you can help them. You rummage around in your things for some food to give them. Alas, you have nothing that could fill their tiny bellies. You also remember that you're starving too, and your stomach rumbles in displeasure. Hoping to cheer the little ones up, you perform a lively dance. It holds a special place in your heart. You learn the steps from an old woman in your village. Sadly, the orphans are unmoved. Their mouths don't even crease a little. Legol raises an eyebrow at you and issues a stare that says, "What the hell are you doing?" Ouch. You hit upon an idea. Why not ask the aristocrat making huge profits from the tinder water for assistance? A well-dressed man of clear sophistication and means emerges from the manor, and he seems willing to listen to you. You bring up the plight of the city's orphans. The man listens to your story and then hangs his head. I would love to do something, truly I would. But you see, my own child, he explains that his son is bedridden, stricken with an illness of unknown origin. The aristocrat's mind seems fully preoccupied with thoughts of his own child. At a loss, you look over at Polka. He catches your glance and then offers to examine the aristocrat's child. Polka explains that he has some medical knowledge, and the man practically leaps on him, desperate enough to cling to any ray of hope. It looks as though Polka will be performing an impromptu medical exam. According to Polka, the aristocrat's child has been poisoned. The man's jaw falls open. That cannot be. My household employs silverware that reacts to poison in food. You raise the possibility that there could be some kind of poisonous plant nearby. Polka, however, denies this possibility. He hasn't seen any plants at all around the city, much less poisonous ones. You suggest the possibility that there could be a venomous monster nearby. At this suggestion, the aristocrat blurts out, "The flame primal. It exudes a toxic gas." Polka explains that if the source of the poison was indeed somehow the flame primal, it might be possible to craft an antidote from its body. And then, as though struck by an idea, he adds, and perhaps as a thank you for my doing so, we might discuss aid for the poor orphans of the city? Yes, of course. Seeing the aristocrat's immediate response, you can't help but be astonished by Polka's wisdom and negotiating skill. Upon leaving the manor, Polka explains, with no small amount of pride in his voice, "My own investigations indicate that the flame primal is in the lake of fire to the northwest of the city. It seems like his running about all over the city wasn't for nothing." Polka warns, don't breathe too deeply here. The very air could be noxious poison. Get him! To battle. Sometimes you get lucky. To battle. You pick up a scrap of paper you spot by your feet. Against all odds, it hasn't burnt to ash. It appears to be part of a crudely drawn treasure map. A sketched treasure chest lies between a lake, white mountains, and rocky crags. A treasure map! Everyone shouts at you in unison. You slip the scrap of paper into your pack and make a mental note to keep an eye out for the location the doodle depicts. To battle! Battle time. monsters bar the path. That said, it doesn't look like they've noticed you yet. They probably don't see many humans around here, given that the lake is surrounded by fire. They're completely taking care to be as quiet as possible. You steal close to the monsters and attack them. Monsters don't attack. In fact, they look like they're trying to find an opening to make a run for it. A masterful victory! Battle time. You survey the area for some way to cross over and spot an iron bridge collapsed into the burning tinder water. Someone in a time long past built a bridge here, though it has since collapsed from the heat. Suddenly, an idea strikes you. Maybe I can use the steel primal's power to manipulate metal and make it so we can cross. You decide to summon forth the primal's power and repair the fallen bridge. Unfortunately, the pieces left to you are so mangled that no one would rightly identify them as parts of a bridge. You've joined these two bridge parts rather skillfully, if you do say so yourself. Polka, however, looks concerned. I think there might be a better way of placing that. If we could just redo it, he mutters to himself. With the steel primal's help, you safely cross the Lake of Fire. The bridge you've built remains firmly in place. It actually looks quite sturdy. You should be able to use it to cross as many times as you like. As if crossing over a lake of fire weren't enough, your path is once again blocked by flames. You quickly survey your surroundings and see more parts you might be able to fashion into a bridge. You call upon the steel primal once more and prepare to improvise another bridge. You won't be able to cross if you place that piece. Try another, perhaps. You've made it once again. But before you can celebrate, you're greeted by an expanse of tinder water. You summon the steel primal a third time and hope this is the last bridge you need built. But the pieces the primal hauls out of the tinder water don't look like they'll fit together. You look back at the bridges that brought you here. Alas, you've built them too well. They won't come loose from the rocks, so you'll have to make do. Trollus, seeing the worry on your face, chirps encouragingly. Search. We will find. Must be way. Inside is impossibly a bridge part. You should be able to use this to get further across the tinder water. Trollus gazes intently at you. She's noted your mastery of the steel primal's power. She explains that ever since she was picked up by the circus at a young age, she's trained as a beast tamer. However, as she puts it, she has not managed to improve in the slightest. She asks you to give her some pointers on how to get monsters to obey, and you reply, a massive monster wreathed in flames rises from the lake. It's shrouded in such heat and fury that you can scarcely turn your eyes to it. This is, in all likelihood, the Flame Primal. Your party readies their weapons and prepares for a fight. Slay this beast. You can't tell if it has something to do with the primal, but poison is slowly coursing through you. You must end this battle quickly. You've managed to gain the advantage on your foe, but suddenly, you feel as if suffocated and fall upon one knee. Your poisoned body is screaming, raging in protest. The flame primal clearly isn't going to let this chance pass it up, and it begins amassing power. Barely thinking, you go left, attempting to dodge the primal's attack. But your foot catches on something, and you trip and fall to the ground. You shut your eyes, believing this might be the end of you. But the pain you brace yourself for doesn't come. You wonder what's happened, and open your eyes to see Trollis, you scream. She turns to you and gives a pained smile. The acrid smell of burning meat assaults your nostrils, and Trollis cries out in anguish. Still, she desperately musters her strength. And pushes back the flame primal. Trollis has given you and your friends a chance. You stand, and together you and your comrades attack the primal with all your strength. You've done it. You've beaten the flame primal and sealed it within a card. I expected nothing. The flames upon the lake begin to recede and then blink out entirely. Perhaps because you've beaten the flame primal? You see Trollis crouching on the ground and run over to her. "Are you all right?" you ask. She totters to her feet. Having rather shrewdly managed to gather some of the flame primal's bodily fluids during the fight, Polka immediately sets about inspecting it to determine its composition. To the great surprise of all, he does not detect any trace of poison in the fluid. Could something else be the cause? Polka collects some of the lake water in a bottle. He then busies himself dipping various papers and medicinal compounds into the bottle. At length, he makes a curious face. According to Polka, burning the water releases toxins that accumulate and can cause fatal harm to the human body. Your party decides to head back to the City of Flame and inform the aristocrat of your findings. The fire's out, but... With the flames of the lake extinguished, those of the pond in the center of the city have also gone out. The people seem frantic to reignite the tinder water once more. Pulka's medicine succeeds in stabilizing the child's condition. However, he is quick to indicate that it is but a stopgap measure. Pulka advises that, should they wish to prolong the life of the child and of all those in the city, they must stop using the tinder water. The aristocrat shakes his head and says, "That we cannot do." You calmly ask, why? He explains that the tinder water is the basis of all life here in the city. The city would fall into decline if they were to stop using it, and most of the citizens would be set adrift with no means of supporting themselves. I am in charge of this city, and I cannot stop our use of tinder water, even if it costs the life of my child. Pulka's voice is quiet. I cannot claim to understand how those who rule over others make their choices. Trollis scratches her chin, clearly racking her brain. She replies at last, No. You ask the man if there is some way to resolve this impasse. He grimaces and makes a self-deprecating snort. Maybe if Nuterra existed, then all would be solved. You ask if it is perhaps some kind of panacea that can cure all illnesses, but Pulka shakes his head. Pulka explains, Nuterra is said to be a mysterious land abundant with all manner of resources. The aristocrat picks up the thread. Scholars claim it exists beyond the river to the northwest, but none who go there ever return. With that, the man gives you a large amount of food and sends you away from the manor. You hand the food out to the orphans. How did you get this? The boy asks. You explain that you received it as a reward from the aristocrat. Hearing this, the boy blurts out, I'm going to use the burning water to get rich too. The boy mentioned that his parents died due to illness. Likely they were stricken with the toxins from the tinder water, just like the aristocrat's child. You tell the boy that the tinder water isn't good for him, but he replies, I don't care. The boy thanks you for the food and runs off with his sister. Pulka has a difficult-to-read expression on his face. Let's at least hand out the medicine, he suggests. You nod without uttering a word. The fire in my heart has gone out with all the rest, the man mutters before sinking to the ground, his arms hanging limp. You offer some medicine to the man, but he keeps repeating, "No, I'm good," as though in a delirium. The passionate woman is screaming herself hoarse, coughing and sputtering as she points in shock at the pond where the fire has gone out. The woman accepts the medicine from you. With a pained wink, she says, "Not that this medicine could cure love sickness." The lad is all smiles and mirth, claiming that if he were to invent a tool to start fires, he could make a killing. Despite his sunny attitude, though, he looks quite unwell. You give some medicine to the ambitious young man, and he is jubilant. "Yes, I can work even more now." With a trembling hand, the knowledgeable old woman strikes a knife against stone, muttering, "This'll get it burning. I'm sure it will." You offer some medicine to the old woman, but she puts up a hand and refuses it. "I'm afraid I don't make a habit of taking medicines I've never seen before." "I'm gonna get rich and buy my sister all the yummy food she can eat," the boy tells you. You offer medicine to the children, but their faces drop. "This won't fill our tummies," they say with considerable disappointment. It doesn't look like the people of the city are going to stop using tinder water anytime soon. The medicine you shared with them may provide little more than brief peace of mind. "I can't believe they won't give it up. They know it's poisonous," you say in a low, pained voice. Legol gives you a sympathetic thump on the shoulder. You look up at him and ask, "Do you think everyone could be happy if we went to New Terra?" His denial is immediate and assured. New Terra is a fairy tale. You answer him in a small voice. Polka looks positively delighted. "Why, yes, now that calls to my scholarly soul." Trollis seems equally on board. "I go too," she says, smiling. In the face of your united enthusiasm for the idea, Legol grunts, "Fine, if you insist." You and your friends have made up your minds. You shall seek New Terra and whatever hope it offers, believing it exists just like the stars in the sky. The city has done nothing about the poison and likely never will. Now that you've left, it would be safest if you never returned. The aristocrat has already rewarded you. You doubt will be of any further aid. Your group surveys the land beyond the river that the aristocrat spoke of. He claimed that none who go there ever return, yet you've little choice but to brave what lies beyond. A great river of tinder water stretches out before you. While the liquid no longer burns, it would still be dangerous to attempt swimming. You start to hesitate, thinking that there is no crossing, when Polka shouts, "Da-na-na-na!" He is carrying an iron board, apparently having brought it back from the Lake of Fire. Just as before, you and your allies decide to build a bridge across the river. Battle time. Your group crosses the river, and as you celebrate, you take notice of the tough, rock-studded expanse of land stretching before you. Your sand skiff was made for moving over the sands, so it'll be difficult to go any farther aboard it. You propose remodeling the sand skiff, and Polka is first to Legol's face is uneasy as he mutters. Polka explains that 3 materials will be needed to convert the sand skiff. After some quick preparations, you decide to split up to locate what you need. Sometimes a different perspective can be illuminating. Polka asks you to locate a long, sturdy pole. Trollis dashes off to the south, so you decide to head north so that you all can cover more ground. Perhaps because you're by yourself for the first time in a long while, the solitary search makes you feel a bit lonesome. Your thoughts drift inexorably to your comrades. Your thoughts turn to Polka. Polka's breadth of knowledge has been an incredible boon, and also a headache, since said knowledge is the source of his While he's typically an affable fellow, you do sometimes spot an unexpected iciness in his expression. Perhaps it comes from his hatred of monsters. Your thoughts turn to Trollis. Her awkward way of speaking somehow only accentuates her sweetness. On top of that, she cares deeply about her companions and has tenacity to spare. And back when you faced the Flame Primal, she pushed herself so hard to save you from certain death. You can't help but be a little concerned about her. Your thoughts turn to Legol. Legol can be somewhat brusque, but deep down he's a supportive person. He seems to care for Polka and Trollis too. From time to time, though, you spot a lonely, sad look on his face, perhaps due to his difficult past being treated like human livestock. Your crew of friends has grown little by little, but with them at your side, you no longer feel as lonely as you once did. While you were lost in thought, a monster has found you. Fighting alone would be a one-way ticket to a cracked skull, so you get ready to take off running. But then, you spot the brute's weapon. Its handle is a long, sturdy-looking pole, the exact kind that Polka needs. You decide to fight the monster. Your battle with the monster has landed you a long, sturdy pole that Polka should be happy with. Having done what you set out to do, you decide to head back to the sand skiff. Pulka asks Legol to find something that could be used as wheels. Legol is skeptical that something like that will just be lying around, but he sets off to look nonetheless. Legol recalls that there was a cart in the mine near Steelborough. Though hesitant to return to such a dangerous place, he can't make excuses when he thinks of how hard a certain subterran must be searching. He decides to take the sand skiff alone back to the mine. There is indeed a cart in the mine, as Legol recalled, and, as one would imagine, it has wheels. Legol attempts to remove the wheels from the minecart. But suddenly, a monster emerges from behind it. Get him! With the monster defeated, Legol collects the minecart wheels. The slain monster's eyes are wide open. Legol gently closes the monster's eyes. Having done what he set out to do, Legol decides to head back to the sand skiff. Pulka asks Trollis to find some durable cord. Despite feeling a little sluggish, Trollis takes off to the south, eager to help the group. Trollis wanders the area, searching for some durable cord or rope, but turns up nothing. Trollis looks around, trying to find a plant that she could braid into rope. The region is so arid, though, that it proves a futile effort. Trollis rummages through her possessions, looking for some durable cord. Inside, she finds a whip from her apprenticeship. She must have brought it along by mistake. It once belonged to the ringmaster of the circus. Looking over the whip brings back memories. Trollis spends some time reminiscing as she gazes at the whip, but then realizes, "Not cord," she says, tossing it away. Realizing that a whip could work in place of a cord, Trollis decides to return to the sand skiff. With what Polka requested in hand, you beat feet to meet back up with the others. The group meets back up, having gathered all 3 of the things needed to modify the sand skiff. You've brought the sturdy pole, Legol has the wheels, and Trollus has the whip. Are you sure I can use your whip? Polka asks, and Trollus gives a little nod. Trollus turns her bag upside down, and, as advertised, a number of whips tumble to the ground. Doesn't your ringmaster need these? Legol gets a distant look on his face, a bit of pep in his step. Polka starts zipping around the sand skiff, making modifications. The modifications to the sand skiff are finished. The vehicle should be able to pass through the rocky wasteland without issue now. The group is thrilled, but suddenly, Trollus collapses. Polka hurries over to examine her. Somehow, she's suffering the effects of tinderwater poison. Beyond holding her close and squeezing her hand, there is little else you can do for Trollus. The battle with the flame primal flashes through your mind. During the struggle, Trollus threw herself in harm's way to protect you from the primal's attack. The poison must have entered her body through the wound she sustained in the process. Despite downing some of Polka's medicine, Trollus remains languid. It seems that the effect isn't very strong. She needs a sanitary place to rest, Polka says, and the group decides to try to find one. A man, breathless and plump, suddenly jumps out in front of your group as you search for a place where Trollus can rest. You inquire as to his identity, and the man puffs out his chest as he replies, "Why, a great merchant and roamer of the world at large." Trollus rises unsteadily from the deck of the sand skiff, tilts her head to the side, and says, "You not ringmaster?" The man looks at Trollus for a moment, then breaks into a delighted smile. "Oh ho, you're one of my brothers from the circus." As he explains it, this man is the younger brother of the circus ringmaster. He works as a merchant who travels the world buying and selling all manner of rare articles. And to that end, he wastes not a moment in trying to strike up some business. Perhaps a gander at my wares, then. You briefly explain Trollus's condition and try to leave. "Why didn't you say so sooner?" I've got some good info on that front, he replies with a wink. The merchant shares that he has heard of a village to the west, wherein resides a brilliant apothecary. He's said to be a rather crabby fellow, but with any luck, you can get some medicine from it. And on top of that, find a place to rest. Two birds, you say a few words of thanks and quickly head off to the west in search of the village. The man calls after you. I'll be here with my compatriots for a while, so do pop by later. The merchant glances over at you with a troubled look on his face. You ask him if something is the matter. For reasons I can't explain, I need a wolf. Could you catch one for me? He pleads. He then procures a picture and shows it to you. It looks like this. I'd like one with a beautiful shiny coat, he elaborates. It should be 2 stars at the very least. Stars, you ask? To which he explains that each monster has a star-based ranking. The stronger the monster, the more Of course, I shall see that you are handsomely rewarded for your effort, he tells you. You decide to accept his request, then take out a wolf card from your case. A delighted smile stretches across his face, and he asks if he can have some of its fur. Once you hand a tuft over, he quickly entwines it with his own hair. Behold, he exclaims with a grin. I'm even more dashing than before, no? I need to make a good impression on all of our patrons. After all, I'm the first person they see, and how I look influences the credibility of this entire business, he explains. After he's finished arranging the wolf fur on his head, he thanks you and hands you your reward. The merchant, recognizing your monster-catching prowess, wants you to bring him an orc child next. Just like the wolf, orc children are said to live in the desert, but dislike the sun's powerful rays and tend to hide away in dark places. You make note of the information and bid the man farewell. You locate a small village. This is probably the place the merchant mentioned, where the apothecary lives. However, monsters suddenly appear, and they're headed straight for the town. You can't let them attack the town, for Trollus's sake too. You take off running to stop the monsters. Unbeknownst to any, you manage to avert the danger. Now Trollus needs help. Hurry into the village. You and Lagol enter the village, leaving Polka caring for Trollus on the sand skiff. No sooner do you enter the village than a man's voice calls out to you. This here's the Village of Light. Make yourself at home and rest your wearied spirits. The villager wears a curious headpiece, but seems polite and courteous. You get directly to the point and ask him if he knows about the apothecary. "Ah, that would be me," he says, before offering to mix up some medicine if you're in a hurry. You explain Trollus's symptoms, and the man calling himself an apothecary smiles and says he can help right away. Afraid of the answer, you ask what it will cost. The man calling himself the apothecary laughs and assures you he has no need of payment. The apothecary hardly seems crabby at all, so you check again with him that he really is the one you're looking for. He answers that coming to this village changed him, made him realize that people need to live by helping each other. The apothecary suggests you take a wander about town while he mixes up the medicine. He adds, "The folks about town are kind souls one and all, so feel free to ask them if you need anything." Legol says that he'll get Trollus and returns to the sand skiff. You decide to walk around the village and find what you'll need to care for your friend. After hearing your tale, the proprietor of the inn beams at you and says, "Don't worry your head over payment. Stop in and make use of one of our rooms as much as you like." You offer a word of thanks and feel a weight lift off your chest. Now Trollus will be able to rest somewhere comfortable. The boy looks at you and says, "This would look nice on you, miss," and hands you a crown made of gorgeous artificial flowers. You try to pay for it, but the boy counters with a smile. "I gave it to you because I wanted to. That was nice." After hearing your tale, the woman hands you her food. Make sure you all eat up and get all your nutrients. And if there isn't enough, you just let me know and I'll make more. Ha ha, she finishes with a hearty laugh. A giant statue towers above you, stern eyes seeming to glare a warning to trespassers. The old man says, "No person is an island. That's why we need to join hands and help one another." The apothecary comes running your way. The medicine is finished. You take it from him and then try to head back to Trollus, but there seems to be quite some commotion at the entrance of town. Wondering what could have happened, you hurry over. A crowd of villagers has thronged the entrance to town. On the opposite side are Legol, Trollus, and Polka. Their earlier kindness seemingly an implausible memory, the group shouts, "Get out, now." You realize that the villagers are staring daggers at Trollus. They seem somehow furious at her. Even the apothecary, who only just handed you medicine for her, has an expression of utter rage on his face. You attempt to intervene and put a stop to the trouble, but the villagers continue to bellow their anger. Suddenly, You hear a serene voice call out over the crowd. At the sound of it, the people fall incredibly quiet. A mysterious girl, young in years, emerges from within the awkwardly silent crowd. "I beg your forgiveness for the way you have been treated by the villagers," she says. "If you require a place for your sick friend to rest, please come to the Shrine of Light," she finishes, before leading the way. Right now, you need to prioritize treating Trollis. Head to the Shrine of Light with the girl. As soon as you arrive at the shrine in which the girl lives, you put Trollis in a bed to rest. You're relieved that you've managed things for the time being. When you speak with the girl, she says, "I've been waiting for you all." You haven't told the girl anything, so how is it she knows that? "I know more than that." She goes on to describe much about your group: the monster attack on your village, Legol's cruel treatment, what happened to Polka's parents. "What's your deal?" Legol says, unnerved. The girl answers, "The power of prophecy." She explains that due to her power, the people revere her as a religious guru. You've never heard that word before, and so you ask, "Guru?" You ask if a guru is some kind of pop star, and Legol returns your question, looking perplexed. "What's a pop?" You explain what a pop star is, something you read in a book once, and Legol nods. "Yeah, that sounds pretty close to what a guru is." Polka adds, "A guru is the founder of an ideological group, or the leader of one." In any event, the guru is clearly important to the village. You decide to ask her about the place. You ask why the once kind villagers became so angry. The guru explains in a measured voice. "This remote village has," she explains, "been the victim of many monster attacks over the years, which in turn means that many of its inhabitants despise all monsters. That hatred eventually took root in the village as a kind of religious doctrine. Thus their behavior when they saw Trollis." You ask why the villagers were so kind at first. The guru explains in a measured voice. The village, she explains, adheres to a doctrine called the Light Faith. She goes on to explain that the foundational principle of the Light Faith is to be kind to people. Thus, the villagers treated you with great kindness. And so there have been two absolute doctrines in this village: be kind to people and kill monsters. She gazes at the room where Trollis is sleeping and asks, "Your friend is a monster, yes?" You state in no uncertain terms that Trollis is not a monster. However, you cannot deny that you had a vague suspicion of her true identity. The guru amends her words. Forgive me. Perhaps that expression wasn't quite appropriate, since she is also human. She is half human and half monster. What are your thoughts on that? She asks. It's true that monster blood may flow in Trollis's veins. Monsters, things to be hated. But as you've traveled together, seeing you falter, the guru offers another apology. The villagers were discourteous to your friend, and for that, I am sorry. Many of them lost family to monster attacks and are seized with hatred. I ask you to forgive them, she continues, her voice tinged with hurt. Ah, right. Your group wishes to go to New Terra, yes? She says, breaking the silence. Stunning that your powers could even tell you that, says Pulka in a low voice, and the guru nods serenely. She explains that there is a stone tablet in the ruins of a religious edifice to the northeast of town. Said tablet has the way to New Terra recorded on it. However, you should know, monsters have nested in the ruins, she adds. There's information on New Terra to be had, though, so you decide to go anyway, despite the danger. Trollis is sleeping soundly. Quite relieved, you thank the woman watching over her. She seems annoyed, but when you inform her that you're headed to the ruins, she quickly turns her attitude around and bows her head. The ruins were evidently a sacred site for this village, one where marriages, funerals, prayers for bountiful harvests, and other important rites were carried out. And the tablet was used in those ceremonies. You accept the woman's request, explaining that you were planning from the start to retrieve the tablet. You've no sooner gotten your response out than Trollis's eyes fly open, and she bursts out, "I come too." While she is a little unsteady yet, the apothecary's medicine seems to have done its work. You try to convince her to rest a little longer, but she insists on going to the ruins with you. At length, her persistence wins out, and you begrudgingly agree to take her along and head for the ruins. The guru gives a little smile and says, "I'm sure you will be all right. I have foreseen that you will be able to obtain the tablet and return safely." Have you captured an orc child? The merchant asks. Remember, it must be 2 stars or above. After you summon the beast, the merchant calls over the blacksmith. The smithy looks at the orc child's weapon from every angle. Apparently, he's been developing a hammer that even children could use in self-defense, and wanted to use the orc child's weapon. Allow me to thank you on behalf of the smithy, the merchant says. I oversee the entire roving market, and as such, it is my duty to reward you. I may ask for your help again in the near future, he says with a smile. Until then. This place feels eerily familiar. You open your pack, you knew it. This is where you feel around on the ground for a moment and soon discover an unnatural swell in the dirt. You claw at the earth with reckless abandon. Success. Buried treasure. Ecstatic, you fling open the lid and stash its contents in your bag. Need a room for the night? The innkeeper asks as you enter. The party takes leave of the inn, feeling rested and refreshed. spot an open-air stall with a sign reading, "Goods bought here." You enter the stall and hear the proprietor call out to you. "Welcome to my exchange shop. I'll pay good money for your goods." "But this'll determine how good the money is," she continues, revealing a single die in her hand. Without warning, she sets about closing her stall. Apparently, you were her last customer for today. You gather up your things and take your leave. Battle time. To battle. A great statue stands before you, large enough that you have to crane your neck to look up at it. You wonder how much historical value such a thing might have. Beautiful. Beautiful. Get him. That's how it's... Battle time. Beautiful. Battle time. You look at Trollis and ask, "You okay?" She gives a vivacious bounce, assuring you that she's as fine as she looks and that you don't have to worry. Perhaps she then realizes what you actually mean, so she continues to speak with some brightness in her voice. She reminds you that she has the circus troupe who accepted her without discrimination. And on top of that, she has kind friends who worry about her and do their best to nurse her back to health when she falls ill. So of course she's all right. To battle. Battle time. Sometimes you... Your group reaches an antechamber with 3 arrows inscribed on the floor. Further inside, you can see a statue and what appears to be some kind of pedestal. To the right is a door, and by the looks of it, your only way onward. Battle time. The floor sinks slightly when you step on the arrow, and then... why, the statue moved. Apparently, it moves in the same direction as whichever arrow is stepped on. There's a wall in that direction, so the statue can't move there. You withdraw the foot you were about to put on the arrow. The statue slides on top of the pedestal, and in that instant, with a groan relieved that you can finally move on, you decide to head through the door. Battle time. Monsters block the way. You attack them at once, determined to make your way deeper into the ruins. To battle!